All right, so you sent over these articles about Rent-A-Pet, and well, I know you're already familiar with the whole renting pets thing instead
Yeah.
of adopting them. So we're gonna go beyond the surface here.
Okay.
Honestly, my first reaction was a mix of "that's so cool" and "wait a second, is that ethical?"
Yeah, it's definitely something that makes you think.
Yeah.
It really speaks to this change we're seeing, not just about pets, but how we think about commitment and, services these days.
Okay, so we're not just talking about the cuteness factor.
Right.
What's the bigger picture here that Rent-A-Pet fits into?
Well, we're in a time of flexibility.
Hmm.
Everything's on demand. And, if you dig deeper, it's things like more and more people living alone, like over 25% more single-person households in the last 20 years.
Right.
And the gig economy, where people maybe can't have a pet, long-term rent a pet, fits right into that.
So it's not just that, oh, people are busy. We're seeing like a real change in how we live,
Exactly.
which makes this whole idea less of a fad
Right.
and more of a response to like people's actual needs.
Yes. Exactly. It's meeting the demands of how we live now. But let's look at who benefits from this, because a cuddly dog might not be the answer for everyone.
Right. Not everyone's going to run out and rent a goldfish. The articles mention some pretty specific types of people.
Yeah, yeah. So we've got busy professionals.
Yeah.
They might be in small apartments, families who want to, try before they buy, tourists missing their pets back home. But it gets even more interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
Seniors, people facing isolation.
Oh.
Loneliness is a huge issue as people get older, and a pet visit could really make a difference.
That makes sense. It's not just about having a pet to play with. It's about a real social need.
Yeah.
But wouldn't all these changing people be disruptive for a pet, even if the visits are good?
That's a key question,
Yeah.
and it gets to whether this is ethical or not. The goal isn't to replace forever homes. It's to provide some enrichment. Good companies are focusing on short, positive interactions, matching temperaments. It's like a fun outing for the dog, not a replacement for their pack.
Oh, okay. So it's like doggy daycare, but with more one-on-one time.
Yeah.
Okay, that helps me picture it better. But how do these places even get the animals? Are we talking breeders? Pet stores?
Actually, there are two main ways you're doing this, and they're pretty different. Some partner with shelters, giving those dogs and cats a chance to, be seen and maybe find a home.
That's a win-win.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that be tough on a shelter animal? Going from the shelter to a temporary home and then back again?
It's a valid concern.
Yeah.
And that's why good shelters have strict rules. They wouldn't put a scared or anxious animal into this. It's more for the social, playful ones who like people. Plus, they're getting out of the shelter, which can be stressful.
Okay, that makes sense. What's the other model if it's not shelters?
This is where it gets more like the sharing economy. It's people sharing their own pets.
Whoa, so my neighbor with the super chill golden retriever could be making money renting him out. Is that even legal?
The laws are still catching up. But the appeal here is that these pets are already used to different places. It's more like borrowing a friend's dog.
Okay, so we've got shelters and regular pet owners. But how does someone actually rent a pet? Do they just show up and pick one out?
Not quite. It's more like online dating for pets, hopefully with fewer bad dates. Most places have online profiles where you can look at the animals, see their personality, how active they are, all that. Then you pick a time that works.
That's clever. Keeps it organized. What kind of times are we talking?
Flexibility is key. You can get an afternoon buddy, a weekend pal, even just a couple hours for a study break. It depends on the service and the pet, of course.
So I'm not signing a lease agreement with Mr. Whiskers.
Definitely not. It's all short-term visits.
Yeah.
But even with those, you need ground rules.
Oh, absolutely. You can't just have people taking random pets for joyrides. What are the companies doing to make sure it's safe and responsible?
They're learning from other sharing companies. So background checks for renters, detailed profiles of the pets with health records, clear guidelines for things like transportation, and what you can do with the pet.
So no taking that chihuahua for a jog in the summer heat. Got it. But this all sounds expensive. How do these companies even make money?
That's where the business models get really interesting. And I think it'll be interesting to see what works. You've got the basic fee per rental, but some companies are doing subscriptions, like a gym membership, but for doggy dates. And some even have add-on services.
Okay, now you have to give me an example. What kind of add-ons?
Think pet photography sessions with your rental pal, or themed outings like a picnic in the park. It's all about the experience, not just a transaction.
That's smart. It's that whole experience economy we were talking about. But let's be real for a second. What are the downsides? There have to be some problems with this whole setup, right?
You're right. And the big one, the one we keep coming back to, is animal welfare. We can't lose sight of that just because it's a cute concept.
Yeah, if these animals aren't treated well, the whole thing falls apart. How can they guarantee that renters aren't mistreating the pets?
Transparency and accountability are key. Good companies are using things like real-time GPS tracking, so they know where the pet is. And they encourage communication between the renter and the pet owner.
So it's like a safety net built in. And if someone's caught mistreating an animal, there are consequences.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
These companies have to protect the animals, so there are penalties, like being banned from the platform. And they work with animal welfare groups if there are serious concerns.
That's reassuring. But let's look at it from the other side. We've talked about risks to the animals, but what about the potential benefits? I mean, besides the obvious cuddling, could Rent-A-Pet actually be good for them in some ways?
That's a great point, and it's where things get nuanced. If you look at the shelter model, Rent-A-Pet can be great for socialization.
So instead of being in a kennel, they're out interacting with people, learning how to be good companions.
Exactly. It's real-world training,
Right.
which makes them more likely to be adopted. Plus, for the ones who don't find homes, it gives them enrichment and interaction, which is important for their well-being.
Wow, so it's like a stepping stone either to a home or to a better life at the shelter.
That's something I hadn't thought about.
And it shows how Rent-A-Pet, when done right, can be more than just a service. It can be a good thing for animal welfare.
This is really making me think. What started as, oh, renting pets, how interesting, has turned into this deep dive into changing lifestyles, ethics, and the future of pets.
And we're just getting started. Next time we'll look at how Rent-A-Pet could change the whole pet industry and what that means for everyone.
Sounds good. So before we were talking about the rent-a-pet thing and looking at the different ways it works and how it can even help shelter animals.
Right, we talked about how it fits into people's busy lives and how it can even help those shelter animals get adopted.
Yeah, but now I'm thinking bigger picture. Could this actually change the whole pet industry? Like, are we talking about people not owning pets as much?
It's definitely a disruption. Think about it. Breeders, pet stores, vets, their business is built around people owning pets for a long time. So if people start renting a dog for the weekend instead of owning one for 10 years, that's going to change things.
Exactly.
Oh.
Demand for puppies and kittens could go down, which would impact breeders. Pet stores might sell fewer things like food bowls and leashes if people aren't taking care of pets long term.
Wow, it's like a chain reaction. I hadn't even thought about vets. Would they see fewer animals if there are fewer pets?
Potentially? Yeah. Those regular checkups and shots might
Yeah.
go down, especially for pets that are being rented out and already have basic care.
Okay, so there's some potential downside for the current industry, but could there be new opportunities too? I mean, change usually leads to new ideas, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Rent-a-pet could create whole new markets. Think about special insurance for when you're just taking care of a pet for a short time. That doesn't really exist now.
That's true. Regular pet insurance is for the long haul, but what about just a few days? That's a whole new market.
Right. And then there's training. A dog who's going to be with the different families might need different skills.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. You wouldn't want a dog who's used to its own bed freaking out in a new place.
Exactly. So there could be special training for rental pets, focusing on them being adaptable, listening to strangers being okay in different places.
This is really interesting. It's like a whole new type of pet care expertise.
Yeah, and technology is going to be huge. We're already seeing apps for booking and scheduling these rentals, but it'll go further.
Go like what?
Imagine talking to the vet online for those short-term rentals. It would be so much easier and quicker if the renter had a question.
That's smart. No more trying to get a vet appointment for a pet you only have for a few days.
Right, and data could be used to track how the rental pets are doing, like their behavior, how active they are, to make sure they're okay.
So it's not just people saying how the pet is. We're using technology to actually see how they're doing. That's a big step for making sure they're treated well.
It's about using technology to make things easier and safer for everyone involved.
This whole conversation is making me realize that Rent-A-Pet is about way more than just renting pets. It's about how our whole society is changing and how we think about animals and technology and even each other.
I agree. It's a really good example of how a simple idea can change so many things, industries, social norms, you name it.
It's like we're seeing a new type of pet care being created, one that's all about flexibility, technology, and meeting different needs. But with any big change, there are going to be challenges.
That's true. And it brings up the next question. How do we make sure this rent-a-pet thing is done responsibly and ethically, especially as it gets bigger?
That's a huge concern. We can't just forget about the animals because it's convenient or profitable. All right, so we're back and things are getting real. We talked about the good parts of Rent-A-Pet, all the flexibility, helping shelter animals, new businesses, but
Yeah, we've covered a lot. But now we got to talk about the potential problems. Can this actually be done ethically as it gets bigger?
Because it's easy to get caught up in the, oh, cute puppies, and forget that we're talking about real animals.
Right, exactly. And that's where laws and rules come in. Right now, most animal laws are about owning pets, not this renting thing.
So are we talking like brand new laws just for rent-a-pet companies?
Maybe in some cases.
Yeah.
But we could start by using the laws we already have to cover this new way of doing things, like making sure companies have licenses, checking the backgrounds of renters, even limiting how often a pet can be rented.
That makes sense. You wouldn't want a dog going from one place to another constantly. What about those individual interactions? Some dogs are cool with anything, but others are more picky, right?
Exactly. That's why we need clear rules. Maybe some breeds wouldn't be allowed, or there could be rules about how you transport the pet, like no leaving them in hot cars.
Right. Or taking a cat who hates water to a pool party.
Exactly.
Oh,
And definitely no forcing a pet to do something they don't want to do.
okay. So rules for the companies and the renters. But who's making sure everyone follows the rules?
That's the tough part. It'll probably be a mix of the government, the industry itself, and people speaking up.
So like a team effort.
Yeah. But how do you keep track of what's happening with every single rental? There are going to be some bad people, right?
Yeah.
You can't eliminate all the risk, but technology can help. We
Yeah.
talked about GPS tracking, but there could also be systems where renters have to log what they do, maybe even send pictures or videos to show the pet's safe.
So like building that accountability right into the app. And if something's wrong, someone knows.
Right, it's about using technology for more than just convenience, but for safety and transparency too.
Yeah.
But even with all the rules and technology, the success of Rent-A-Pet comes down to how people think about it.
Okay. What do you mean?
We have to stop thinking of pets as just things you rent for fun. It has to be about respect, taking care of them, understanding they're living creatures with needs.
So it's not just about, I want a puppy for a day. It's about making sure the animal has a good experience too.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you get that message out to everyone?
Right.
Education. These rental companies have to teach people about taking care of pets the right way and treating them with respect.
So it's not just about showing the fun parts. It's about the responsibility too. Maybe even making people learn some basic pet care before they can rent.
That's a great idea. And it's not just the companies. Animal shelters, vets, even people online, they can all help promote doing Rent-A-Pet the right way.
So it's like a whole change in our culture, from seeing pets as things we own to seeing them as companions we're responsible for, even for a short time.
Exactly. And if we can do that, Rent-A-Pet can be more than just a trend. It could be a way to help animals fight loneliness and connect people with animals better.
Wow, we started with what is Rent-A-Pet and
Yeah.
ended up talking about everything from how people live to animal ethics to the future of pets.
It shows you that even simple ideas can have a big impact and make us think about important things.
So as Rent-A-Pet keeps growing, it's up to all of us to make sure it's done the right way.
Because the animals should always come first.
Well said. And with that, we'll leave you with this. As this whole thing grows, what do you think Rent-A-Pet should be about? Just a convenient service, a way to help people who are lonely, or something else? Let us know what you think. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep those free friends close.